Alrighty, I want to welcome everyone to the live broadcast of the Fellowship for Mental Health Hangout, October 2nd, 2015. It may be a short one. They've changed the rules on how we invite people, so I can't just send out a blanket invitation anymore. So I'm going to see how that works. I've sent 3 invitations out, and so far no takers. So I want to go ahead and mute my YouTube page. I want to refresh my Google Plus page. If you're a member of any one of my circles, you can get in without an invitation. You just have to know, just have to be a member of my circle. Okay, let's do the ground rules, and then, okay, and then we'll post some more invitations, and then we'll go from there. We always say this every week, but it bears saying every week that this is a hangout where we don't have judgment. We don't do therapy in these hangouts. None of us are qualified for that. And we try to share much respect with each other and with our topics. We want to keep everything at a PG rating. And the best way to do that is to use, well, one of the ways to do that is to use I statements and try to keep it related to yourself and what you think, what you feel. And is there anything else? I've already mentioned the invitation, so I'm going to try to send some invitations. I've had to divide my groups into two, and I think the match number is 20. So let me check. Let me check my my guess on that. Okay, I guess the magic number is 20 because let me. First group I have has 19 members, and let me do that without a hitch. So let me try again. The second one. And if you're tired of getting invitations, let me have a heads up, and I will move you to another group where you won't get an invitation. So, okay. So I've got the invitations posted. I'm going to post. There's 2 or 3 I need to do because you know, a hand-sent invitation because of the setup they have for their technology. So,
hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Not good. I've had my operation on Wednesday. I had my biopsy.
Your biopsy, okay. Okay. Well, I don't.
Well, but I've got to wait for 6 weeks for my results.
Okay. Well, I don't have to send you another invitation. So, have you heard from Elizabeth this week?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send her another invitation just in case. And I'm going to send our buddy an invitation, Blue.
Yeah.
I know sometimes, you know, his technology doesn't work. Well, you haven't missed much. We just went over, or I just went over myself.
Someone's just sent a message saying that they'll be at work.
Okay.
I didn't quite catch the name, but.
Okay. Oh, it looks like Wingu, the young. Well, you weren't here. He came in. He came in after you had to go to bed. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, and as I remember, he and Blue were having a spirited discussion about things of importance. So, how's your, well, aside from the biopsy, how's your week gone?
I've been struggling with a so-called friend.
Yeah. Oh, sound like we have another message.
Chance has working a bit. She can't join today.
Oh, okay. Well, my guess was right on the invitations. I can invite, if I have a group that has less than 20 members in it, I can send an invitation to that group. So now I've got two. I've got mental health pals and mental health buddies. So
Yeah.
okay, well,
I have three stitches in for my biopsy, and it's just ridiculous now.
yeah. Uh,
6 weeks I have to wait for my results.
Okay. Did you want to say anything about the problems you're having with your friend, or just that you're having problems?
Yeah. She spoke to me out of turn on Sunday because my email account got hacked. Yeah, my email account got hacked on Saturday.
Oh my gosh.
My Yahoo account got hacked, so I had to change an email address again.
So this is the one you had already changed, right?
Yeah.
Man.
So that got hacked, so I had to change it again.
Yeah.
So I had to change it again because it got hacked. For God's sake. So because that address got hacked, I had to change it again. And this person, because I told them I had to try to tell them that it got hacked. So this friend of mine, this so-called friend, spoke to me really out of turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a few problems with her on Sunday. So, and I've not spoken to her since.
Well, I hope for the best. I just and I hope there's also an end to all your difficulties there.
Mindy says wishes she could, but she doesn't have internet.
Okay. I wonder. Okay, so I wonder if she needs me to send her.
Obviously, she doesn't have internet.
Okay, so but I wonder if her phone, if she can get on with her phone.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, let me do.
So it's been real hell all week. My therapy session went well on Monday, though.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been back and forward to the dentist. I've got to have my wisdom tooth out.
Yeah.
But that's being referred to the hospital.
Okay. I just sent the young lady. If she can get in with her phone, I'll send her a direct invitation.
Yeah.
So.
She doesn't have much data left.
Okay. Well, she may be one of the ones that's watching us. I think there's 2 or 3 people watching us. Well.
Yeah, she says she's going to come in for a few minutes.
Okay. All right, then I'll send her a direct invitation, and I think she's the only Mindy, so that should be easy enough.
Mindy Creeling.
Right. What I do is I put in the first 2 initials, and then it comes in. Okay, so she's got a direct invitation on the way. So, and I was trying to figure out how many people are actually watching us. It says just 1, so.
Yeah.
Okay. And she can come in. Oh, it looks like
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So now there's 3 of us. Okay. We were just kind of talking about some of the stuff that Anastasia's been having to go. She had a biopsy and she won't get the results for 6 weeks. So she had I don't know, an issue with one of her friends. So, and if you have to drop out, Mindy, we're an open campus here, so I'll just assume that you had to drop out for a good reason, either because of your battery or whatnot. So
Yeah.
we're open.
Mostly just because of my phone data. I just moved and I don't have internet here at the new house, and so I've just been using my phone data, and I'm pretty much almost out of my phone data. So.
Okay, well, if you have to drop out for whatever reason, we will understand. We want to get into our topic, and it's not much of a topic. I've been going through some of Dr. Napoleon Hill's stuff or whatever, and we're up to one of his success principles, which is accurate thinking. So as much as we in the mental health community can achieve accurate thinking, that's what I think we should do. And I'll just share some of my own thoughts, and then I'll get your responses. First of all, we should do our own thinking. Secondly, our conclusions should be based on facts and not superstitions. And then wisdom should always prevail. And then the study of philosophy would help clear the cobwebs in our minds. So, what do y'all think about that?
Great. Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, because if we don't think for ourselves and we just go off what other people say, then we're not going to learn anything. We're not going to understand anything.
Yeah, and I think it's if Chance were here, she could speak better to this. I think the dialectical therapy she was going through, dialectical behavioral therapy or whatever, where you got your what your mind wants and what your heart wants, and then you let your higher self, your spiritual self cast a tie breaking vote, and I think that's a good policy. So
yeah.
Can I just real quick throw in kind of like what I'm struggling with my therapist and the way kind of like his methods?
Sure.
So I had therapy yesterday, and I just had a phone session because I couldn't make it in for various reasons. And so like my therapist doesn't want my parts to talk for themselves. He wants me to relay what they need to say. So like if Bang has something to say, Bang is supposed to tell me, and then I'm supposed to tell my therapist, and it's just not working for my system. It pisses us off, and then my parts shut me down, so then I'm not able to talk. So then we just get stuck and we don't get anywhere. And my therapist just isn't getting this. And so we were talking about it again yesterday, because now I've got this new part who came out who wants to act things out that happened, and I'm just kind of like, what the heck? And I don't know what to do. And I don't know if it's okay in session or not, because nothing else seems to be okay in session. And so yesterday when we were talking about this again with letting my parts talk versus not letting them talk. And he was saying that basically, which I kind of understand, but it's still frustrating and pisses our system off. And that is that he doesn't want to encourage the parts to be individuals. He wants me to be like more upfront, but he doesn't want to encourage their individualness, which they already are individuals, but stifling them, and he doesn't want them, which I guess he doesn't want to encourage the dissociation any further. And he was saying, because I asked him, and so he was saying that his goal is not necessarily integration, but if we get there, that's great. But that's not his goal, which I don't really know what his goal is then if that's not integration, because to me that sounds pretty much like integration. So he's not wanting to talk for themselves because he doesn't want to encourage them to be individuals, and he wants everything to come through me, and then he won't even talk to them directly. He talks to my parts through me. So he'll say, tell so-and-so I said thank you for sharing. And I'm like, no, you can tell them yourself. And
see, now my therapist will acknowledge each part directly.
Yeah.
He'll say,
yeah,
Gray, I need to talk to you. Christian, I need to talk to you.
Right.
Hey, Lisa, welcome to the party.
Hi, thank you.
Is this Lisa Emerald?
It is.
Yes, it is, the one and the only.
I've never met you before.
Nice to meet you.
I've heard a lot about you, but I've never met you before.
Well, it's nice to meet you then.
I'm Anastasia.
Cool.
Well, it's like old home week here. Now, getting back to Minnie's situation, certainly I'm not, and maybe Lisa can add her 2 cents in. It sounds like your therapist, Mindy, is trying to force some kind of a pseudo integration, where he wants you to have one spokesperson that can be the funnel both inside and outside, and
Right.
and I don't think. I don't know. It doesn't sound very, very healthy to me. It sounds like he's gone. He's made 4 or 5 jumps ahead of where he should be. Is what it sounds like to me.
Well, and I
And
kind of think he doesn't. I kind of feel like he doesn't want to spend as much time as it's gonna take, and maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I just feel like he is trying to rush things and go too fast, and I don't know. My system's having a hard time with it because, like I said, when he does that, when he doesn't let them talk for themselves, we just shut down because
yeah,
if you're not gonna let me talk, then we're not gonna say anything because this is stupid and it just pisses everybody off. And so, like, I was telling him, well, I didn't tell him this, but my idea to kind of go along with what he's wanting is that right now, I think my parts need to be able to talk for themselves, and then
yeah,
allow me to converse with them when they're talking, so that way we're all kind of having this conversation. So like if Bang starts talking about something, then I'll join in too and I'll start talking about it with Bang, I guess, and then my counselor can join in and whatever, and then I think that'll help me to build a relationship with my parts and them with me, and I think that they'll eventually be able to come to trust me that I will say what they need me to say. But we're not there right now, and they need to be able to talk for themselves. And
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Are you about to switch, Anastasia?
Yeah.
Okay. I probably should have posted some trigger warnings. But Mindy, back to your situation. It doesn't sound. I've got another red flag that just came up in my mind, and that is most therapists that I've read about are client-centered. In other words, they take what you want to offer and then they build from there. And I'm hoping your therapist is flexible enough to adjust his techniques to incorporate that. I'm also wondering, are you one of his first patients with I won't call it NPD, that's the old name, but I mean,
DID? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's had. I mean,
Hello?
from what he
Hello.
said, he's.
It's Gray.
Welcome, Gray. Well, I want to let Mindy finish her thought. So.
From what other, I mean, from what he has said, he's counseled other people with DID, and his methods have worked for them. And I just get frustrated because not all methods are gonna, not one method isn't gonna work for everybody, and so I
Right.
get frustrated with his thing, and I'm just kind of stressed with like whether or not to switch therapists because number one, maybe a female would be better. Number two, but if I don't have a male therapist, then will I ever be able to learn that men can be safe? Number three, would another therapist kind of work the same way or like similarly but in a different approach? I don't know. And number four, am I just being resistant and not trusting him that he knows what he's doing and that it'll work for me? I don't know. I'm just having a really hard time. And then of course there's what my system thinks, and we all just think he's an idiot and doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, I can't, I don't want to make your decisions for you, but if it were me, I'd give this guy a couple more chances or whatever to see if he can vary his style
Yeah.
to accommodate your needs, and then because from what I understand, changing therapists can be traumatic too. So
It can be really daunting.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we just had a move, so I just moved living situations, and I'm still adjusting. And like, so this new part that I mentioned that was acting out, she came out like everybody got really quiet for a few weeks, kind of like up to like when I found out when I was talking about moving, everybody got really quiet. I was also sick that week, and so everybody got really quiet inside, and I didn't hear from anybody for like weeks. And then just like 2 weeks ago maybe, all of a sudden this part came out, freaking out because she didn't want me to take sleeping meds because she had heard me that morning say that I was going to take sleeping meds that night. And she just like, she came out when I was at the gym and texted my mentor and was like, so I'm not sleeping. And like, I don't know, she's interesting. And so I've learned some stuff about her, and then she started acting out like trauma that happened, and I don't really know how to do that. I've never had a part like her before. She's really strong, and she kind of just takes over when she wants to, I think. And like the other day I was journaling, and she kind of like took over when I was writing. And then I have a really hard time holding her back. Like I can hold my other parts back, but I can't really hold her back. And then like with her acting out trauma, like I don't do that.
Like
I don't.
Like we
I don't,
can't really hold Silas back. We have
Yeah.
problems with Silas.
Yeah.
And she's a strong one. And then she also feels the need to like, she needs to show she wants to show our mentor, and like the stuff she's acting out, she wants to show it to our mentor. Like, and I told her that she's only allowed to use the body to show things with me when we're in private. So with our mentor, she wants to use toys, and I don't understand why she needs to show someone besides me, and nobody else seems to understand that either. And
How old is this part?
she says she's 5.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Because I in the book when Rabbit Howls, she was able to write things out, but I mean that would be kind of difficult for a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'd be interested in art therapy, where she could draw things out. Just
Some of my other parts do that. Some of my other parts can say things that happened, and they're younger than she is.
Well,
So I don't understand
Yeah.
why all of a sudden there's this 5-year-old who is different than my other parts who are even younger than she is, and who feels the need to show things
Why?
out.
Mhm.
No,
just
why?
different.
So what you want me for?
Gray, do you need to excuse yourself for a moment?
No. No,
Okay,
it's
well,
fine.
let us know. Let us know if you do. Well, my gut feeling, Mindy, is to stick with this therapist a little bit longer. It just sounds like you've got so much going on, with changing house and changing
Yeah.
therapists and all the rest. I think my intuition is that your system is searching for some type of continuity, and it sounds like many of the members of your system are young people. So
Mhm.
We've had a
yeah,
lot of young people in our system as well.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I have a few young ones, and I mean, and I only like my parts only came out in February of 2014, and so I'm still
yeah.
learning all this stuff. Still learning, like I'm still trying to accept it. I think half the time, and then like lately, a lot of times I don't even know who I am, like who the real me is, and so like I'm trying to
Me
figure
neither.
out. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out different things that kind of like hint at me being the real me. So like I think that when I'm cooperating with my therapist and when I'm doing the things he's wanting me to be doing, that's probably the real me. But when I'm feeling resistant to those things and I don't want to do them and I'm pissed at it, that's probably not the real me. But then I don't understand how can I know that I'm not the real me if I'm not the real me? Like I don't, it's just so fucking weird, and I just don't get it. It's just I don't get it. And I don't know. I just don't get it.
Well, I was thinking about Dr. One of the favorite guys that I read is a guy named Dr. Milton Erickson, and he worked with all kinds of people. And I think what he would say if he were here, he would say all the parts of you are the real you,
Yeah.
and
Right.
and he would search for the solution that kind of harmonizes everyone. So, which I think your therapist wants to do, and I think creating harmony within the system, whether that results in an integration or not, I think having harmony within the system is a very, very positive idea and a positive goal. So
Yeah, I guess I just wonder, like, is the way he's trying to work with me, is it right or wrong? And is there really any right or wrong with working with DID and how you choose to work with it? And I don't know.
well, Dr. Erickson would try one thing, and then if that didn't work, he would try something else. You know?
Yeah, I don't think my therapist is up for trying multiple methods.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
So
know.
I think
I I think he's thinking, like yesterday when we ended our conversation, he said he was going to think about ways that he could make it work, that my parts could talk. So I think he was going to think about it
okay.
this week. And then when I meet with him or talk with him next week, I'm going to present my idea of letting everybody talk for themselves right now, but then me joining in on that conversation, so that way we're all kind of like conversing, and then eventually that building to trust. And also, so with this move that I just had, like, my living situation is totally different. I actually have privacy for the first time in 3 years. I didn't have privacy before. Like, I didn't have a room with a door, and I didn't have, like, so with my parts, I was not able to communicate in my old living situation. I wasn't able to let them do what they needed to do. I wasn't able to let them play when they wanted to play. I couldn't let them do anything because there was no privacy, and the people that I lived with could not know that I had DID because they didn't want to know, so I had to hide it. And so that caused a lot of stress for my system. And so now, like, I just realized this last week that I'm in a place where the people that I live with know that I have DID, and they're cool with that. And I have my own room. I have a door. I can shut the door. I can talk out loud to my parts, and they can talk out loud to me, and they can play if they want to. They don't have to pick up their toys when they're done. They can do what they need to do. So it's completely different, and I'm just kind of coming into that, I think, this week with, like, oh, so things are very different for my system now than how they were the last year and a half. And so I think there's lots of changes maybe.
Well, it sounds like
and so that they can come out more, I guess. I don't really know.
It sounds like some changes for the positive. So
yeah,
and
right.
And
we're going through a lot of health changes at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mindy, you can see where the therapist, I don't know how many parts your system has, but you can see where the therapist wouldn't want to do therapy with 20 of your parts at the same time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But he's not even wanting to do therapy with any of them. Like, he just wants to do therapy with me. And so he's not, and so I just get frustrated because it's like, well, they're the ones who hold the stuff. They're the ones who hold the memories and stuff, not me. So I don't know if he's wanting me to connect to that, or I don't know. Like, I just don't know.
Well,
see, we're a large system, and he wants to connect with all of us.
Right. And Mindy, I'm hoping in your situation, it doesn't force the parts to act as if they were one when they're not one. That would be.
I think that's kind of how it feels. Is like, it kind of feels to everybody that, like, he's just ignoring them and he's not acknowledging them, and he's just not acknowledging them, and they need to be acknowledged, and they're real. And I guess to me it makes me feel like he doesn't think that they're real, and so I already have doubts that they're not real. So for my therapist to be acting, whether purposely or not purposely, to be acting like they're not real is really difficult for me, because then it makes me feel like I'm just making them up and they're not real anyway.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think the new part definitely needs to be heard. So so you might think about pressing him on that and saying, listen, I realize you don't want to talk to all the parts all at the same time, but some parts need to be heard.
That's what I kind of told him yesterday, because he wasn't too thrilled about her acting out in session, and, like, he was explaining that we're not ready to do trauma work yet, which I understand his explanation. We're definitely not ready to do trauma work yet, but I told him that I don't feel like Missy is asking for this to be processed and dealt with. I feel like she's just asking for it to be acknowledged and understood. I think she's really scared, and she's not feeling very understood, I guess. I don't know, but I think she just needs for some reason needs to show, and then needs to be understood, and then okay, it's done. And we can move on and we'll process it later. But I don't have the feeling inside that it needs to be processed and dealt with right now.
Okay. Gray, are you switching?
Yep.
Okay.
This is really triggering. Hello?
Okay.
It's
hello.
Christian. It's
Welcome, Christian. Welcome, Christian. I understand you've been busy this week trying to keep everything together.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a lot going on at the minute.
Well, hang in there. You know, I always say this. It didn't come to stay. It came to pass. So, and you're taking positive steps, and I think Mindy's taking some positive steps too. So.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you have to exercise your patience.
Yeah.
But
6 weeks seems like a long time, though.
Mhm.
Yeah. But hopefully it'll fly by. So. Yeah. But I mean, it sounds like Mindy. It sounds like your therapist. At least you can talk with him and he'll listen to your side or whatever, and hopefully y'all can reach some kind of a compromise that will let your system, have be able to have a voice, for more than just the primary, the primary spokesperson, whichever part that happens to be.
Hoping so, because it's just making it harder for me, and it's making it harder. It's making it harder for me, and it's making it harder for my system, and it's just not being helpful. It's just keeping us stuck, and we're not getting anywhere. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like at this point,
I'm having a hard time with one of the littles at the minute.
Okay. Well. Christian, if you need to take a break or whatever, that's fine. Just let us know. And but Mindy, your therapist sounds kind of conservative, and that may not be a bad thing at this point or whatever. And I think if he's worth his salt, and he sounds like he is, that eventually he'll come to a point where he realizes he's making progress or he's not making progress. And at that point, if he's not making progress, at that point, I think he would offer you a referral, right?
Ketsia, put that down.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, just hang in there. That's the only advice I can give you. It sounds like you're in a much better place. I'm trying to remember. I think I was in a group with you, and I think we talked about some of these same issues or whatever, where you were in a place where you didn't have any privacy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah,
so
it's really cool. It's really cool that the people here that I live with know that I have DID, and they're like, and like the lady, it seems like she wants to learn about it, and she wants to. Like, she kind of wants to understand, I guess. I don't know. And she took psychology in college, I guess, so she understands a little bit. And then her husband had PTSD, so kind of understands. But
well, that's.
I'm in a different situation to you, Mindy. My family are struggling to understand our gender identity issues.
Oh, yeah.
We have gender identity disorder.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think
we're gender neutral, and we're being misgendered all the time.
Yeah, that would be frustrating.
And it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
We go by Z or they or HIR.
Yeah.
Pronouns.
Yeah.
But we get misgendered all the time.
Yeah, that'd be frustrating.
The body was born female, but we're neutral.
Okay. I don't really think gender's I mean, we haven't really dealt a whole lot with gender. I do know that I have some parts who would rather be a boy. I have some parts who, so, but I don't know. It only comes up every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But on a positive,
it's hard for us.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hard.
Because we're a neutral system.
Okay.
But we get misgendered all the time.
Mhm. Okay.
And it really, really frustrates us all.
Yeah, I'm sure. That would be frustrating. To be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. I was listening to a little bit of Dell Channel's Hangout, and I forget the guy's name. It's his sidekick. You know, they're
James?
yeah, James, exactly, James. And he was saying that there's no respect for his issues, which is the social anxiety. There's no respect in his community. I mean, when he goes out into the neighborhood, you know, that aspect of there's just no respect. I mean, people in the mental health community that have these issues, whatever the issue is, we're just seen as weak. So, welcome, Chance.
Hey.
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 Do you want to update us on what's going on in your life, Chance? I know you've been through some changes too.
I got a job. I think
Well
that's
done.
about it.
Well, good for you. Do you like it?
So far, I've only done orientation and 1 day of computer training.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's too soon to tell, I guess.
Yeah. Because I was out of town for 10 days. So.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for your job. Hopefully, it's not too stressful. I've figured out that I would rather have a job with no stress than to make lots of money and have a very, very stressful job.
Yeah.
Mindy's going now. She's out of data.
Okay, Mindy, we understand, and thanks for joining us. So, okay, well, I remember being in a hangout with Mindy, and I remember her talking about some of these
She
issues.
thanks us for our advice.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, it sounds like her therapist has a good head on his shoulders. So
Yeah.
so hopefully that'll pan out for her and her system. So, but I have clarified what I want to do with my life, and that is to be a healer. And my Wednesday group, actually it's a Wednesday group, and then we have a Tuesday group. It's the same group, but it's the one is supposed to be for training or whatever, and the other is supposed to be for like our public presentation. And I'm getting more comfortable with that. Doing the EFT, the energy tapping. I'm getting more comfortable with that. And plus, we're going to broaden our scope to where we study different kinds of alternative healing modalities. And I've come across something called heart math, which is real interesting. It's a way to reset your heart, and if you do that, it keeps the stress down. So I'm real interested in that. So I'm getting more experience in that. And I can just feel changes in myself where I'm getting more comfortable with the idea of having more money. So.
Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm liking my new church too. I met a lady one week, and the very next week she died. And so it was interesting to see how I processed all of that. And my personal theology, whenever someone dies, my personal theology, it's an opportunity for me to check it and make sure if it still holds or whatever. And it does. It does. I've had to make some slight modifications, but it does. But this lady had lost her husband the year before, and she had just turned 65, and so I just think it was time for her to make her transition. So, and to be with her loved one once again. And in my theology, death of the body does not mean death of the soul. So
No.
there is a continuation of, in my mind, in my thinking, after this thing we call death, which is just merely death of the body. So, but it was real neat. The conversation we had was real neat too. She asked me what I wanted to do and what I was studying, and I told her, and she turned out to be a not naturopath,
Homeopath.
but well, no, not really. She's aromatherapy was one of the things she did, and she was more into nutrition. So,
Okay.
and oh yeah, she had all kinds of certifications or whatever. So, but like I say, she it was time for her to make her transition. So that's what happened. I don't know if there's going to be an autopsy or whatever. I've only been going to this church for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, so I didn't feel like it was my place to ask or anything like that. And they're going to have a service for her tomorrow afternoon, and I'm not sure I want to go or not. But anyway, so it's real neat just to see. And it's a relatively small church, and so it's nice to see how they react. So. But okay, Lisa says I'm into both of those. LOL. I guess she's talking about.
I was talking about when you mentioned nutrition and aromatherapy. I think those are
Okay.
very good for your mental health.
Okay. I don't study much about nutrition. I guess I will be led into that, but more or less, I'm into the qigong, the Reiki, the EFT, more like the natural Chinese medicine, which does get you into nutrition. I'm a real big fan of the alkaline diet.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our problems are caused by overloading our system with acid.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you go to McDonald's, it's acid on top of acid on top of acid. I'm seriously.
No, it is. But what do you think of then more plant-based diets, more towards vegetarian and vegan lifestyles? What are your thoughts on that, Marvin?
Well, that's the key, towards vegetarianism. I'm against militant vegans.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the YouTube is known for those communities too, and it gets a little extreme with Freely the Banana Girl and all that drama all the time.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend.
I lean towards pescatarian, which is basically vegetarian but with fish.
Right. And I think the human body. I think if we had 2 servings of meat a week, and I'm talking about a 4-ounce size serving that's about the size of a deck of cards or the palm of your hand. If we had 2 of those a week, I think that would be enough, as long as we got vegetable protein or whatever, and you could chop that up and have like the Cuban diet, for example. The Cuban, not if you go to a Cuban restaurant, but if you go back and eat what the Cubans eat away from the shore or whatever, they will have, it's mostly beans and rice, and then they will have fresh vegetables in there, and maybe a chunk or 2 of pork, and it's just for flavoring.
I mean, my dad at one point, when I was in my apartment and I was out of money and I was running out of food, he agreed to go to the grocery store for me, but I wasn't allowed to go with him. And he came back with a bag of pinto beans, a bag of rice, some ramens, and milk. Which was enough to survive 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, Bill Maher, I don't know if y'all watched the real-time program with Bill Maher, but he had a guest on his program about 3 weeks ago. And this guy, he's researched, I think there's 5 or 7 communities around the world that live to be old. I mean, like we're talking about centenarians and people of that sort or whatever. But he said one thing that most of them did was they would have like maybe a half a cup or a cup of beans every day. Maybe it's at lunch, maybe it's at dinner or whatever, but about a half a cup to a cup of beans every day. And what that does is that clears the toxins out of your system. So your system never gets overloaded with toxins or whatever. And he said just having a half a cup of beans every day, and your body will adjust to the gas or whatever. Once your body gets used to it, you won't produce any more gas than you normally do or whatever. But he said just doing that could extend your life by 4 or 5 years. Just that one little thing.
They're very good for you. And another tip is to make your own beans. In other words, just cook them yourself instead of buying the canned ones, because there is a lot of BPA lining. You can get some that aren't, but you're paying a lot for the can, so it's better to buy a big bag of dried beans, soak them overnight, cook them, and also that will diminish the gas effects as well when you soak them and take the time to do that. And they taste better. They don't have all the salt in them and the preservatives. And but just one note also on, like, if you do go more towards vegan and vegetarian diets, I think it's very important, like this ties directly into mental health from first-hand experience, to supplement or to find foods that are high in B12, which is a deficiency common. I'm pretty sure it's in rice, but you can get it from nutritional yeast, other sources. There's some, a lot of fortified foods as well. But I actually was having a ton of anxiety attacks and panic attacks while I was transitioning to more plant-based. And then I realized there's a direct connection, because you need so little B12, but if you don't have it, it works adversely on your nervous system, and you actually become more prone to that if it's in your chemistry. And for those of you that don't know, my issue is mainly anxiety and depression. So something to really keep in mind if you're going to transition to that lifestyle.
Well, I understand that your body stores B12, and if a person were to become a vegetarian, it would take like years before the stores of B12. Your situation may be different, Lisa, but I think in the average person, the stores of vitamin B12 would last for a couple of years maybe. And then if you were eating two servings of meat every week, that should be enough to to maintain that or whatever. But like I say, everybody is different. I do a lot better with the B vitamins.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go pescatarian if I could get enough iron out of it. But my body doesn't store iron as well as it should.
Okay.
So like what you're saying, twice a week at least, I need a burger or a steak.
Right. I'm not against McDonald's. I'm against McDonald's every day. I think if you want to treat yourself once a week, like my grandparents did. I think maybe I've told this story before, but my grandparents, I'd spend a week with them. One night we'd have a dessert, and that would be it for the week. And then one day during the week, we would go to this place called Burger Queen or whatever, and we could have a hamburger and a milkshake and French fries. But there again, that was the one time during the week or whatever, and the rest of the time we ate very, very, very simple foods. My grandmother was a good cook, but she just kind of stuck with the simple staple type of things. So.
Yeah, I mean, with me, the iron, I can feel when I need it. And there was one time I was in the psych hospital, and they were feeding us chicken and fish and stuff like that, and I wasn't getting enough iron. And I called my mom, and I'm like, will you cook a steak at home and bring it to me? And the only thing is they wouldn't let her bring in a steak knife.
Oh, so she had to cut it.
Cut it with a plastic knife.
Okay, well, I would have had her make.
You gotta understand, but they let her bring in the steak for me, and I felt better.
Okay, I think I would have had her cut it up like in in fajita chunks before she brought it to me or whatever. But either way. So, but
Yeah.
I'm not anti-red meat. I'm not anti. So, now I've heard that people that eat chicken every night, there's issues with that too. But I'm not against. I mean, I think I'm pro variety, which is why they say the French diet is so good for you because there's a tremendous variety within that. And I think Lisa, living in Quebec, you get a little bit of that
Yeah.
variety, and plus you have everything that Americans have, and
Yeah, pretty much. Except I really wish we had Trader Joe's and Whole Foods here. I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
what you guys are saying about the meat.
Trader Joe's, but I've been to Whole Foods.
Oh yeah, I heard they're both great. But I just wanted to add what you guys are saying about the meat is so true because when I was really going full on vegan for a while and vegetarian, like what I like to call myself now, because as much as I hate labels, we all have to label ourselves somewhat to explain what we do in our lifestyle. So I'm definitely very plant-based. So if you open my fridge, it's like most of it's produce, and that's just the way I eat. But I learned that actually your body has a really hard time for some people absorbing non-heme iron, which is iron from fruits and vegetables, and even if you pair it with vitamin C, which helps you absorb it, it can still be hard.
With where food's concerned, I have a lot of health problems.
Mm-hmm.
I may have Crohn's disease or something called orofacial granulomatosis.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what diet I'm going to have to follow.
Yeah. Now you're being tested for that, right?
Yeah, from this
Okay.
biopsy.
Okay, so hopefully they'll give you some good information.
Yeah, and some medication at the end of it.
I wish it could be faster than
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Did you ever find out what was doing the thing to your lips and your face?
No, that's what the biopsy's for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing
It's not an
thing.
allergy chance. It's not an allergy.
Yeah.
It's not an allergy?
No.
Weird.
They tested me for rapeseed oil and it came back negative, so it is not an allergy. It could be Crohn's disease, it could be oral facial granulomatosis, it could be something else. So they've done a biopsy.
Now,
I've lost like nearly 4 stone in weight in the space of 4 months.
that's not good. Well, hopefully you'll get some good information from this biopsy. Now, will the biopsy be conclusive? I mean, it's just like the final test?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's not, then they'll do a deeper biopsy.
Okay, so maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully it's not a train. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think nutrition is very, very important. I think and it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult. There's just simple things that you can do. And I know in my case, I don't crave as much sugar as I used to. I don't crave a big juicy steak like I used to. I mean, man, when I was a teenager, man, I'd be happy if you could give me a steak, but not so much anymore. I just I think your tastes change, and I think your body will adjust to it too. So yeah.
I mean, what you were saying earlier about McDonald's, I laughed because guess where I'm planning on going for dinner?
Uh-huh. Well, okay. Well, it's Friday.
And I got to pick it up on my way to work, so.
Yeah. Well, it's Friday night, so I guess that's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
I had McDonald's Wednesday. There's 2 meetings I go to on Wednesday. There's an early one, which is 9:30 to 11, and then there's one that meets at noon to 1. It's a crystal bowl meditation, and it's real cool, And so anyway, and they're like within like 2 minutes apart.
Oh no!
You about to switch again?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Headache.
But anyway, They're about 2 minutes apart, but there's McDonald's smack dab in the middle. So I treated myself on Wednesday. I didn't have the quarter pounder with cheese. I had a double cheeseburger, which is a little bit smaller. So
Yeah.
Hello?
I was thinking about getting like a Big Mac.
that sounds good.
Is Katsia?
Hello.
Is
Hey,
Katsia?
Katsia, how you doing this evening?
Feel sick.
Oh my gosh. I've got to remind you.
Is it 9 o'clock?
4 minutes till. So you've got to take your medicine. Does anyone have any reason why we should continue our live broadcast?
No.
It's fine.
Okay, well, let me make an announcement to the YouTube viewers in YouTube land. I want to thank everybody for watching this live broadcast. We're going to go into our private session now. Next week, we will be talking about self-discipline and whatever you guys want to talk about. So I'll see the YouTube audience next week.